This is the Patriots Drive Podcast.
We are all Patriots.
Where we discuss, analyze, and answer questions to all things happening in the NFL and with our New England Patriots. Now, here's your host, Cole Kelly.
Welcome into another edition of the Patriots Drive Podcast. Patriots take on the Tennessee Titans, number one seed in the AFC right now. Going to be a tough game. This Titans team, even though they had a down week last week against the Texans, they severely outgained them in yards. Overall, the defense made some key stops in the red zone and held it to a close game, even though it is the Texans. But this Titans team, I don't think is a team that we should take lightly. They're still a really good football team. Defense is playing well. Offense hasn't been as productive, obviously missing Julio Jones and Derrick Henry, but A.J. Brown's still a stud. They still got some playmakers. They just added Golden Tate, and their running backs have been playing decent. So good offensive line. This offensive line has been together for a while. They got some good chemistry together, one or two young guys, but other than that, it's a good football team. So it should be a good one this weekend. This team's going to have to play its best game so far if they want to come up with a win, and it would be a big one because if they win this football game, they have the chance to be the one seed. After this game this week, they have a chance to be the one seed in the AFC if the Ravens lose to the Browns. So 2-4 a few weeks ago, a chance now to be the one seed in the AFC. I mean, that's incredible. Only the one seed gets the bye. So this is going to be a really important game, big game coming up. Couple extra days of rest after that Thursday night game. So it's going to be a heck of a game to watch. But I'm here with my co-host, Chase Campbell. How's it going, Jace?
It's going good. I'm excited. We haven't had meaningful football games like this where you're playing for the one seed in the AFC for quite some time now. So to get it back and have it to be in Foxborough against the Titans, a pretty familiar team the last couple of years that has seemed to have our number. It's going to be a fun atmosphere, and I'm excited to see what this team's all about and where they're at going against one of the top teams in the AFC and in the NFL. Had some impressive wins this year with Derrick Henry and without Derrick Henry. So like you said, Mike Vrabel's going to have his team ready. They're going to have something to play for after a disappointing game last week, after losing to Houston, a team that they probably should never lose to, and now on the ropes of losing the number one seed in the whole AFC. So this team's going to come in fired up to play. New England's got to be ready, that's for sure. But Bill's going to have them ready too. This young team, they're hungry. We've seen it when they were 2-4. They could have easily have rolled over and died. Now we've rattled off 5 straight to get to 7-4. In prime position to make some noise in the whole NFL and especially the AFC this week. And I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah, I am as well. Like you said, the Titans have had some impressive victories this year, not only with Derrick Henry, but without. I mean, early on in the year, they beat a Bills team that was one of the hottest teams at the time in football. They smacked the Chiefs by 24. That game was never close. Held them to 3 points offensively. They just beat the Colts a few weeks ago, and they beat the Rams without Derrick Henry first week with Adrian Peterson just signed, and they beat the Rams in a pretty good game, held that offense to 16 points when they had Robert Woods and obviously Cooper Kupp, but no OBJ yet. And it's a good football team. This defense is playing really well early on in the year. I thought they'd be a lot worse than they have currently been, especially with the guys they're missing. Bud Dupree has been out and most of the year, and this defense is playing pretty good. They've held some good offenses to low numbers. Their rushing defense has been pretty solid on the year. They don't have really any crazy corners. They have Jack Rabbit or Janoris Jenkins. Other than that, they don't have a ton of talented guys. They're rookie Caleb Farley, first round pick. He's been injured, I believe. I think he's out for the year. So they've had their fair share of injuries, but the team's still playing good. They're having that next man up mentality, and you can't take the coach lightly either. We've had some struggles against him so far. Mike Vrabel, he's a really good coach, and he did a lot for this Patriots organization when he played here and was a big time player. And he's smart. He knows the system. He knows our coaches. He knows kind of what we're going to do. Hopefully we know what they're going to do. And he's going to pull out all the tricks in the book because this is a big game for both teams. If the Titans lose this one, that kind of drops them out of their good spot for that one seed. Now they have to compete with us the rest of the year for that. If they beat us, they should hold on to the one seed the rest of the year. They have a couple tough games left, I guess you could say. They got like Pittsburgh and one other decently tough game. But other than that, I think they got the Texans again, Jaguars, a couple teams not too bad. They got Jaguars, Steelers, Niners, Dolphins, Texans. So Texans, Dolphins, Jaguars should be 3 easy wins. And then 49ers, Steelers will be, I guess, closer games. Those are going to be the 2, I guess, tougher ones, but they don't really have any games on here we go, whoa, they really should lose this game. They're a good football team, and it's going to be a tough matchup. Josh McDaniel said this is the best team we've played so far this year, and we've played the Bucks, Cowboys, Browns. We've played a couple pretty tough teams, and this is going to be the toughest matchup so far.
For sure. Pat Scout, IG, what is up? How you doing? We're ready for tonight. Hope you are. Got to get some of these right. But no, you hit it on the head. Tennessee, their defense has been playing exceptionally better than what they started off the year with Derrick Henry, and I think they kind of feel like they have to. Tennessee went from averaging 350 yards per game given up to opponents. They're only allowing 303 yards, so about 47 yards per game less than what they were with Derrick Henry healthy. This defense feels the pressure. They know that they got to step it up to play, to keep winning games, and Mike Vrabel's going to have them ready. Mike Vrabel is a very, very, very good coach, and he knows how to stop New England. Sucks to say, but he's had our number the last couple times we've played him, and it scares the heck out of me. But still on a scale, you take Bill Belichick over Mike Vrabel, so you give Belichick the edge still. But if there's a guy that's close to Bill Belichick and coaching in the NFL right now, I feel like it's got to be, Mike Vrabel on that list. And he knows what the Patriot way is. He knows how to stop guys or stop their game plan. He played in it. He's coached in it. He's done a lot of things within this organization. Coming to New England doesn't seem to scare him like it does some other teams. He beat us, he knocked us out of the playoffs 2 years ago when Brady was there. Still sucks to see and or sucks to even talk about, right? But he's going to have this team ready. So we definitely can't be all, fuzzy wuzzy and say, hey, they're missing Derrick Henry, they're missing Julio Jones, they're missing guys. This should be an easy game. I think that this can be a game where New England can come out and dominate, but it's not one that you can take lightly. I don't think this is a Falcons type of game. I see this very similar to the Browns game where the Browns, we can come out and we can dominate. I fully can say with confidence now that New England can come out and beat any team like they did the Browns. But then, we could also play, struggle at times like we did offensively against the Falcons, like we did early in the year against the Texans. So what New England team is going to come out is going to be a team that plays for 4 quarters and shows that they're the best team in the AFC right now? Or is it a team that struggles for 2, maybe gets bailed out by a couple things on their defense and still looks like they have ways to go to be at that Super Bowl contender level? But we're going to find out a lot about this New England Patriots team this week.
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. Does it sound normal? Nothing weird. Okay. I hit a button on my mic. I don't know what happened. So, how's it going, Michael? But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said there. It's going to be a tough game. This Tennessee team is a really physical football team, just like this Patriots team. So I think whoever dominates the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, if we can get pressure on Tannehill, if we can stop the run and force the game to be in Ryan Tannehill's hands, then I will feel solid about it. You know what I mean? I don't think he's big enough of a playmaker to win the game by himself. I think he needs pieces around him. And I mean, he's still a solid quarterback. He's middle of the pack probably, and at times when he has the right pieces and the play action game going with Derrick Henry, he can do some things. But I think his performance heavily relies on that play action, and you can see his average yards per attempt with Derrick Henry was like 7.5 yards, something like that, and now it's dropped all the way to like 3. So it's basically cut in half his yards per attempt on play action now without Derrick Henry, because I mean, he means so much to this football team. Guys have to stack the box and commit to the run, because if you don't commit to the run when it's a play action, and if Derrick Henry gets the ball, he's going to run for 8-10 yards on you every time, and he could break a big one. So you got to commit to the run and then play the pass when you got a guy like Derrick Henry in the backfield. And when he's not in the backfield anymore, you don't have to do that as much. And teams can play the pass a lot more and not worry about the run as much. Even though this team can still run the football, they got some good offensive linemen. It's going to be a lot different than how we would play them with Derrick Henry, because he makes such a difference. And Ryan Tannehill is so much better when he has a guy to backpack him in that backfield. And he's not the same player without all those weapons around him. I mean, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and Derrick Henry. If you can't have success with that and a good offensive line, you're not meant to play in this league. So he is having success with those guys, and we'll see what he can do without him. But so far, he hasn't done a ton. He did solid against the Rams defense, which I was pretty surprised. But overall, if the game is consistently in Ryan Tannehill's hands, I will feel a lot better about it than if it was in Derrick Henry's hands or Julio Jones, AJ Brown, whatever.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill's complete in about 72% of his passes when he's in a clean pocket, but as soon as you get pressure on him, that drops to 53% right there. 6 interceptions, 3 touchdowns. And he's getting, he's been put under pressure about 33% of his dropbacks. So you get pressure on him, and I think New England can. You mentioned it. They have a pretty dang good offensive line. There is one weak spot that I think and it's their one of their guards, Nate Davis. He started 9 games for them. He's 12th according to PFF in pressures allowed by all offensive linemen. So another guard that we talked about last week with Jalen Mayfield and Christian Barmore. I don't remember. I'm trying to pull up exactly how many pressures Barmore had last week or any of the interior guys, but getting Barmore, who is up there, if not first, he's definitely second in great pressures created by a rookie.
I think he's third right now behind Parsons and Owe or whatever his name is for the Ravens.
Yeah. So let's see. Christian Barmore had 3 pressures last week. Gottschall had 4.
He also got held. He got a holding called on him, or not on him, but on the offensive lineman. He almost still got the sack with the holding call. I'm becoming a really big fan of this kid. I don't know if you watched his press conference yesterday, but the dude's a character. He's a really, really funny guy. And anytime any of the Patriots guys are getting interviewed and a reporter brings up Christian Barmore, they just get a big grin on their face and start laughing because Barmore's a funny dude. He talks so fast in the interviews, and Judon was giving him crap for it the other day. And Barmore he's talked about how much he loves being here and playing for the greatest coach ever, greatest organization. He's really, really enjoying his time here, and it's fun to see, especially with, last year was a down year. Oh, New England can't have any fun, this, but they're playing good football. This locker room's meshing together really well. The rookies aren't getting treated like rookies. They're just another teammate on the team, and the locker room's really great. And I'm really becoming a huge fan of a lot of the guys on this team. It's been a fun year so far.
Yeah, and when you're Christian Barmore and you're a rookie and you have 31 total pressures on the season, only 1 sack to show for, but you keep getting pressures, you're going to get more and more sacks. I can think of 2 of them that he should have had. One last week against Matt Ryan where he literally jumped over him, not like jumped over him, but he didn't go low enough and just Matt Ryan squeaked out. So yeah, there's rookies on here making an impact, but he's a guy. Gottschall 4 pressures last week. Carl Davis, hopefully Lawrence Guy. You get guys like that. Dietrich Wise has been a guy that has created pressure up the middle a little bit, but you get set on a guard like that that's given up pressures. Hopefully we get more and more, because Ryan Tannehill, if we're not getting pressure on him, it worries me because he can run. He's a very capable runner too. And if we have to sit in man coverage and we can't get pressure on him, our guys are getting gloved up at the line of scrimmage, he can make plays with his feet. So, making him run, making him scramble, but not scramble because he wants to, scramble because he has to, because we're chasing him from the backside, from up the middle, and he feels the heat. That's going to be a big part of our game plan.
Yeah, not letting him get out of the pocket he definitely can make some. It's 40 time, because he is pretty.
He was a receiver in college. Ryan Tannehill was. He played receiver in college.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Did he come into the combine as a receiver? Or?
I'm not sure on that one, but I know that he had experience.
540.
What was it?
4.65.
Yeah, that's
so. For comparison, Derrick Henry is 4.54, even though he seems like he runs a million miles an hour when he gets going. And Matt Stafford is 4.81. So he's somewhere in between Derrick Henry and Matthew Stafford's speed. So he can move a little bit. So keeping him in the pocket, making him throw from that pocket, and kind of hopefully collapsing that pocket, not letting them get out, not letting him run, is going to be big. And if he does have to sprint out of the pocket because he's getting pressured, having guys cover well down the field and having guys chasing after him. But real quick, actually, this is kind of changing topics. Before we forget about this, couple pieces of news. Joshua Bledsoe, the safety we drafted, and Cameron McGrone, the linebacker, both were at practice this week, starting their 21-day window to be activated. I don't know if they'll actually end up playing it all this year, or if this is just kind of them getting some more experience. Bill said they've been in meetings and all that stuff the whole year, so mentally they should be caught up, and then physically just getting used to some stuff. So maybe we'll see one of them play maybe some special teams and maybe rotate at the linebacker position, something like that. But if so, I'm excited to see what McGrone's got. He's a guy whose sideline to sideline speed is pretty good, and he could add some more speed to this linebacker group and make them even more versatile, especially if Jamie Collins is out for a couple more weeks, even though he is eligible to come back after this week's game, I believe. So after the bye week, he should be able to come back if he's healthy. So we'll see about that. But I just wanted to mention that before I forgot about that.
Yeah, no, guys like that. I think the other one too is Ronnie Perkins. We hit on him a little bit last week. I don't know exactly his status, but guys like that we didn't think would be playing, but now they're all of a sudden, you have a window where we can activate them and maybe get them. I don't think that they're going to get a lot of meaningful reps, but get them in there, get them some experience for next year, get them some confidence going in. That will be a big boost for this defense and boost for their overall play and their progression as a player. We've seen a lot of guys come into New England and have a great second year jump. So I would be excited to see those guys take the field for a little bit and see what they're all about.
Yeah, me as well. Coming for redemption this week. Let's get these hot takes. Yeah, last week I know mine didn't go very well. I think I had the rushing yards one. We did not rush for 200 yards. That was bad. And then I had the Barmore Judon 3.5 sacks. Judon got a sack, and if I would have had Judon and Kyle Van Noy, that would have been a different story. But they did not get the 3.5 sacks. What were your hot takes? What'd you have?
It was Jacoby Myers 2 touchdowns.
Oh yeah.
I had a strip sack for a touchdown. And N'Keal Harry over 50, which it looked bad. I mean, he caught a couple passes, but
I forgot to give you some credit for that last week and the post-game show, because early on in the game, I was like, holy crap, N'Keal might get 50 yards. I was like, this might be a good prediction from Jace. And if that didn't get called back from Jonnu, that holding call, he had a 17-yard gain rushing, right? That got called back from Jonnu's holding. And after that, he didn't touch the ball again. So I don't know. It would have been probably in the low 30s after that, and he still had 2.5 quarters to go. So that would have been interesting to see if he could have got to that 50-yard mark. I early on, I was like, oh, this might be the one that does it. So that would have been fun to see N'Keal finally getting that 50-yard mark. He hasn't obviously done too much, but as a blocker, he's been good. But my only concern with N'Keal, kind of on that topic, is we don't run him out for routes very often. So I hope this team doesn't start to become predictable, because I think the other game he had like 20 snaps or 19 snaps as a run blocker and like 11 or 12 as a running a route, as a wide receiver, obviously running a route. So most of the time, a little more than half, like 60, 70% of the time, he's going out as a run blocker and not to be a wide receiver. So that's my only little concern there, is that we don't get too predictable, but we got some other guys who can block too. Jacoby Myers holds his own. He's a physical dude, even though he's not the biggest. But that's my only concern with that.
Yeah, and it sucks that N'Keal Harry hasn't came into that true route runner and been able to create consistent separation. But with what he's doing, I think that bringing him in is a whole nother physical aspect where, when he comes in, teams are like, they know where the percentages of run go up, and now they're getting ready. That okay, this is going to be a physical freaking down right here, because N'Keal Harry is a guy that's putting Myles Garrett on his butt, and then you got Trent Brown, who's a massive human being, and Isaiah Wynn and David Andrews and Shaq Mason and Jakob Johnson and Damian Harris, who can run through your face. Like it brings a different sort of mentality to the game, and not every team's built like that. You're like, if you're playing against the Chiefs, who do they bring in that scares you like that, where you're just like, they're gonna try to out physical us? That's old school football. But there's very few teams in the NFL that can do that consistently, like the Patriots do when they bring in their 2 tight end set, N'Keal Harry, Jakob Johnson, Michael Owinu as one of the extra tight ends. Like, it's a physical brand of football, and not a lot of teams can match that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with what you said there. And that's kind of what's good. At least he's doing something. At least he is solid as a run blocker, and he can be physical in that aspect, because he's not doing as much production wise at the wide receiver position. I still think, and I might forever think this, and it might be just kind of not a great take, but I still think that N'Keal, if we gave him more opportunities for jump balls and kind of gave him a chance, I do think he could be a productive receiver in the red zone and overall. Like, I know it's not, and I do feel like that it's just because this is the system he's in, is that you don't take, if somebody's not open, you don't throw them the ball, you move on to the next read. And I think if it was other situations, if they got a guy one-on-one, N'Keal Harry, a big dude who's a good 50-50 ball receiver, I think other teams might give him more opportunities than the Pats have so far, and they might throw him up a couple balls. I think he could be more productive elsewhere, just because he might get more opportunities for those catches that he's shown to be good at. So I don't know. It sucks because you never want to throw up a 50-50 ball, because that means half the time it might be picked or could be knocked down, whatever it is, and you want to take what's guaranteed, especially in this offense. But I still think, I don't know, maybe it's just I like N'Keal Harry. I've always liked him when he came out of the draft. I was excited to see what he could do here. And I guess, I mean, your job as a wide receiver is to create separation and make a catch, and he can do one half of it. So it stinks that the other half he hasn't been so good at, but I do think he still has potential, even if he leaves here. I do think elsewhere he could be used more as that kind of 50-50 ball receiver and do his thing in the passing game too.
Yeah, I have always thought that he can come down and make contested catches, but that's the scary thing is in the NFL you can't. I mean, there's guys that can go up and make that are very, very well known for contested catches. I don't think N'Keal Harry has gone to that level now. Yeah, right. Like he's not a Megatron type of guy, so you're not gonna be able to throw it up to him every time.
He could also create more separation than N'Keal.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's like you get these big receivers that can go up and make contested catches. They can also create separation downfield. They're not one dimensional. That's the thing that's hard about N'Keal Harry, but I hope he snaps out of it too, like you said. But Samuel had a question right here. So Pats beat Carolina with Sam at QB. Then everyone at ESPN discredit the win because it's Sam Darnold. Then Carolina signs Cam. Now Carolina is a playoff team, but Cam couldn't beat out Mac Jones in New England. No, I think this is the question that everyone talked about, pre-season is, how far can Cam take a team? Now, I loved Cam here, and I think he's a very competent quarterback. I just don't think he has what it takes anymore to take a team to the playoffs anymore. And people might think that Carolina is a playoff team. I don't think they are. I don't think they're better than the Saints right now. And I definitely don't think they're better than the Bucs right now in their division and any of the other wild card teams in the NFC. So those guys can say all they want, but matter of the fact is, I don't think Cam Newton is going to make a splash, and he's going to play good football, and he might play better than Sam Darnold does, but he's not going to go in and change that program around in Carolina and make them a playoff team, in my opinion. I think that that's dumb, and I think that that's kind of what Pats fans were saying at the start of the year too, is like, Cam can be a playoff team. Come on, guys. Would you really think that Cam Newton would have us at 7-4 and playing for the 1 seed this week if he was the starting quarterback for our New England Patriots? I don't think so. I really don't. It's a totally different game plan when Cam Newton's back there at quarterback than even Sam Darnold, than any other quarterback. He can't throw it consistently down the field like Mac Jones, like Sam Darnold. He does bring an aspect running the ball that is definitely a weapon, but that's not what you want in the NFL as your starting quarterback and a guy that can take you all the way to the Super Bowl, especially after all the injuries he's had. He did it, and he did it effectively when he was new in the league and healthy, but everything he's gone through, not being in the league, different teams, now he's in new coaching staff, injuries, he can't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I love Cam Newton. I wish him the best. He just can't.
I am really happy for him, and I do agree with most of what you said there. I agree with what Samuel said as well. He said, I'll bring this comment up too. Does that make any sense? Because to me, it's so stupid. If Mac played Carolina with Cam at QB, I'd argue New England would have beaten them just as bad as they did with Sam at QB. I will say, I do think it would have been a closer game if Cam was at quarterback than Sam, just because even with Cam not in his prime right now, and he's not playing nearly as good football as he was in the past. I mean, at one point he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I mean, won an MVP, was really, really productive and really good. But we've always had trouble with Cam, and I think we did learn a lot from having him last year, but I will say we've had a lot more success in history against Sam Darnold than Cam Newton, and Cam fits better in that system than he would have ever fit here. They have a playbook that's a lot more designed to the things he does well. He's got Christian McCaffrey, who can make plays out of the backfield, even though Cam wasn't a great check down guy last year with James White and stuff, but they got a guy, they can run read options with him. He can do a lot of different things. McCaffrey's one of the best backs in the league, most talented guys. They also have DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson, a couple wide receivers who are pretty solid. I don't necessarily think Carolina's a playoff team right now, but I think they're right on the verge. But I do think it's kind of funny how Cam Newton wasn't good enough to be a starting quarterback or get signed for this long, and everybody talked about how bad Cam was, and then all of a sudden he signs with the Panthers and is replacing Sam Darnold, and the Panthers go from one of the worst teams in the league. This is what reporters are saying. One of the worst teams in the league to now, oh my God, they're a playoff team. They could be a contender. Well, like they got Cam Newton back with this, and this. I think it's just the hype around Cam and him being back in Carolina, which I do love it. It's such a good story, him going back to Carolina. I wish him the best. I hope he has success, but I just don't think he has it anymore like he used to. I do think he will have more success there than he would have had here. I don't think he would have brought us to 7-4 right now, but I don't see why he can't have a little more success with Carolina because their scheme and their system is a lot more built for his skill set. And I think he knows that playbook well. He's comfortable with the guys there, and he can do some things. I mean, they played a solid game last week. They still lost to Washington, which isn't great, but he made some plays. He's great in the red zone. He just overall, his consistently with throwing the football isn't great. And if he can stay healthy and still be used as a runner quite often, I do think they can be decent, but I don't think they're really a threat in the playoffs. Maybe they can squeak into the playoffs as like the 7th seed, but other than that, they're kind of an on the verge team. And I don't think he takes them over the top.
No, I don't either. And I think it's a narrative because, like you said, Sam Darnold is going to throw a ridiculous amount of interceptions and probably make really dumb mistakes, but Cam Newton's probably not going to do it at a consistent rate like Sam Darnold does, but he's probably not going to throw the touchdowns like Sam Darnold does. He might run them in like he did last year for New England, but he's not going to do it. It's a bad situation there, and I agree with what Patrick said here, where the media wants to bring that up. He wants to downplay. People want to downplay Patriots wins. Like, I get it. I mean, the Browns they're on a little bit of a slow streak right now, where they only put up 13 points against the Lions, almost lost there. They're not an explosive offense. They're really run heavy, where New England's similar, where they're run heavy, but we've seen New England go off for 45 points, 54 points, 30 points. Like, they have that explosion, and Mac Jones can push it down the field. Baker's dealing with injuries, but people always want to throw the narrative to New England is, oh, well, this team sucks. That team sucks. I mean, people want that. They don't want the Patriots to be relevant again. I'm telling you, the media is dying that New England is relevant again. They're like, it was one year we got where New England was not relevant, and all of a sudden they're back in it. And I mean, we're all talking, and the Patriots could be irrelevant again here in 2 weeks, depending on how they play. And now that we're not indestructible by any means, so I hope we keep it up. But all of a sudden, the Patriots are creeping up there, and they're playing a good brand of football, and they have great future with Mac Jones and the rookies and stuff. And people want to downplay it because they don't want to see the Patriots relevant again. So it's what we are going to have to deal with for a while now, or a while with Patriots fans.
Yeah, and I do want to. I like the comments we're getting here. I think it's some good topics to touch on, even if it's not necessarily Patriots related. Remember, that's not Ron Rivera's playbook. That's Joe Brady and Matt Rule's offense, which he still has to learn. But I do agree he will have more success there in Carolina than he would in New England. Yes, that is true. But you could also see, watching some of the game last week, that a lot of the concepts that Cam was familiar with the old Panthers playbook, you could see them still run a similar amount of those as well. And I do think that offense, even if it's not the same one that he was running with Ron Rivera in Carolina, I think there's a lot of similarities. And they'll use his strengths and use the things he was comfortable with when he was with Rivera to have him have success in this playbook, and especially early on, especially if a lot of the playbook has changed, then they're probably going to say, okay, Cam, we're going to keep these things that we know, and we're going to start out doing the things you're comfortable with, and we'll add on some things that you might not be comfortable with yet as the season goes on. But either way, I think Cam's going to have more success there than he did here. It's just a better fit. He's comfortable there. Carolina, he obviously, his routine there that he had, he knows all the people there every day, all that stuff. So I think he will have a little bit more success, but I still don't think they're a real playoff team or a threat in the NFC. Touching on what you just said and kind of what Samuel and Patrick have said here, it is funny how people in the media, and this has changed a little bit recently because you're seeing a lot of media members give the Patriots a lot of credit. Stephen A. Smith has now flipped the switch, and he's saying the Patriots are the most dangerous team in the AFC. He has them as the second best team in the NFL right now, behind the Cardinals. So it's funny how quickly these people flip their switch from saying the Patriots are horrible, making all these excuses, and then say, oh, now the Patriots, these Patriots are so good, I changed my mind, blah, blah. But then there's people like Nick, what's his name? I think not on.
Oh, it's Nick Wright.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I don't like that
He's
guy.
a Chiefs fan. He's the worst. He's like the old like Rob Parker was with the Patriots and Tom Brady. Like
Yep.
that's what he is now for the Patriots, and he just never will give them credit for anything. He's still saying, "Oh wow, I mean, yeah, the Patriots are so good. They beat the Jets. They beat a horrible Panthers team with Sam Darnold. They beat the Chargers, who haven't looked good. They beat Baker Mayfield and the Browns with Nick Chubb hurt. I mean, they just doesn't give them credit for any win. And I will say, injury-wise, the Patriots have been decently lucky with the teams they're facing. It seems like the teams that we've been facing have always been missing a player, have somebody beat up or COVID or something like that. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. You can't blame New England for this stuff. It's not like they can control how healthy the other team is. We've also had our fair share of injuries. We don't have James White, Jonathan Jones, one of our best corners. Some people would argue he might be our best corner. J.C. Jackson's obviously a stud, but Jonathan Jones at that slot corner position is one of the best at that position in the game, and I'd say J.C. Jackson's up there as well. I think John Jones might be higher on the slot corner list than J.C. is on the regular corner list. So Jonathan Jones was a big loss. It made this defense have to change philosophies. We went from playing a ton of man coverage like we always do to switching completely to now we're playing like 70-80% zone coverage, which we haven't done in a while. So it's really been a philosophy change for this defense. And yes, it's worked out, but that might be something that in the past that you might have to, how do I say this? I totally forgot what I was just gonna say. What was I saying?
I don't know.
I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways,
I don't know where you were going with it, but I know what you were saying,
Yeah,
and I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's tough. So go ahead. I just wanted to comment this. Samuel, you're right. Patriots drive. Cole does have the best. His are fire. So
thank you. I appreciate
his
that,
draft
Samuel.
stuff, and then the one he did for the Patriots Bucks, fire. So
I didn't love that design, but I was trying something new. But yeah, thank you, Samuel. Yeah. Anyways, it's just this Patriots team. Nobody ever really gives them the credit they deserve. It kind of sucks, but I think it's just people don't want to see the Patriots, like you said, be back on top. Oh, philosophy change. That's what I was saying. It went from heavy man coverage to zone, and yes, it's worked out, but you don't know how long that's going to work out in the long run necessarily. This season, we might face a team that's really good at carving up zone coverage, and I mean, a lot of quarterbacks would rather you play zone than man because they can kind of pick apart the coverage. A lot of the veterans, some of the younger guys, it confuses them, and that's what we've seen the Patriots have success with. Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, these guys have struggled. But when you go against a guy like Tom Brady, if you're playing zone coverage consistently, he's going to pick you apart. So some of the veterans later in the season, it's going to be tough. But I mean, overall, it is what it is. Injuries happen for more than just one team. So we've had our losses that we've had to deal with. Other teams have had theirs as well. But it's you got to give them credit for what they've done so far. They've played some really good football. And I think a lot of the people who want to trash on the Patriots just look at the scores and who they played, and they don't actually watch the game. Because I think if you watched the game, so I mean, people still call Mac Jones a check down king. People still say that he's, oh my God, wow, so impressive. He's just a check down king. Any of those people that have said that have not watched any of the Patriots games since week 3. I guarantee you that. And they just want to troll on the internet because Mac Jones currently, if you look at it, his average depth of target down the field is higher than Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, two guys that everybody thinks are gunslingers and throwing it down the field all the time. That's a stat that is pretty shocking to a lot of people, and I think a lot of people wouldn't believe it, but that's the truth. That's what he's doing right now. He's not the same check down king that he was the first few weeks. He's improved a lot. So it's good to see. I hope the Patriots continue to get the credit that they deserve. I did like it when we were underdogs and people were hating on us. I think it's good motivation for those guys, but they're playing good football right now, and I think they're earning the credit that they're starting to get from most people.
Yeah, we're getting back to what we're used to as Patriots fans, just getting hated on and people not wanting us to be relevant. And it feels normal, right? Like we had a break from it and now we're relevant again and now it feels normal. But I agree. It was kind of nice to be the underdog and, be quiet and not have all this hate, because I think what you said was perfect is 90% of people that are hating don't watch the games. They don't watch Patriots football, and they haven't watched Patriots football for the past 5 years, like most of us Patriots fans have, that have seen what Patriots football is. Patrick's saying it in the comments where we match zones, we mix it up. Bill Belichick's a mastermind. We've seen that. Like that's normal for us. That's normal for what the Patriots do. And, something happens, guys get hurt. We trade our best corner, the defensive player of the year 2 years ago, and we adjust, and we've played great, fantastic, maybe some of the best defense any team's played in a 3-game stretch this year, where we're just getting turnovers after turnovers. We held the Browns to 7 points. We shut out the Falcons on a short week going to Atlanta on Thursday Night Football. I mean, the defense is playing great. And then you get a rookie quarterback coming in that people were down on. People were like, if San Francisco drafts him with the 3rd pick, they're going to be crazy. This kid has nothing. I mean, I saw a clip the other day. It was Colin Cowherd. And he's like, Mac Jones, you guys got to stop on Mac Jones. Like, this kid is not going to work out. Go ask the Niners. I guarantee they wish they had Mac Jones right now. Maybe the Jets do too. Maybe the Jaguars do too.
I don't know if you've seen any recent clips of him, but he's another one of those guys that before the draft and after the draft said Mac Jones is. I mean, he thought the Patriots had an awful draft because Mac Jones was going to be a career backup and had no talent, no chance of being a starter. And this dude's the best in the class so far by far, and looks like he could have the brightest future. I get it; it's the best situation for him. The Patriots are a great spot for him to fall to, but it's so funny how these guys go from saying that to all of a sudden, Cowherd is one of the highest people out there on the Patriots and has him in his top few teams as well. Like, I think the Patriots are second on his list as well for top teams in the AFC or NFL, but it's just funny. A lot of these guys had their takes, and it's kind of biting them in the butt now, where they've been completely proved wrong. But kind of talking about that defense, like in the past, we played a lot of man coverage, and that's something that this team did really well. But now losing Jonathan Jones, trading Stephon Gilmore, this team doesn't have the horses to play zone man-to-man coverage on some of the better teams like the Cowboys. Jalen Mills got burnt on man-to-man coverage. CeeDee Lamb for the touchdown in overtime. This team in Super Bowl 53, like the Rams Super Bowl, that entire season, we played like 90% man coverage. And then in that Super Bowl, completely flipped the script, had zone coverage, played a lot of zone, cover 2, cover 3, with Jared Goff and kind of switched things up, and they weren't expecting it. And we held them to 3 points. Defense did great, but we don't have the same pieces to play heavy man-to-man that we had that year with JC. We had Gilmore. We had Jason McCourty. We had a few other guys that were veterans and really good football players that could do a lot of different things. So we got a couple of younger guys out there, a couple of new guys to the system outside of JC, and zone coverage is kind of what they're doing best at. And I hope it doesn't make us too one-dimensional, because there's eventually going to get to a point where we play a really good playoff team, a good quarterback who's more of a veteran, especially if we want to make a deep playoff run. And we're going to have to play some man-to-man, or we're going to have to hold up, because some of these veteran quarterbacks are going to carve up zone coverage. And unless we keep disguising it extremely well, it's going to be a problem. So I hope it doesn't bite us in the butt eventually. And I hope that Jonathan Jones injury doesn't end up hurting us a ton, because I mean, he's a big loss, especially in man-to-man coverage. He's a speedster. He can take Tyreek Hill one-on-one and do his thing. Obviously, sometimes they have safety help with Tyreek Hill, guys like that, but it's good. I mean, PFF, talking about PFF here, they have Mac Jones ranked as the 4th highest quarterback grade for the year out of any quarterback in the NFL, only behind I think Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, and Justin Herbert are the top 3, and then 4 is Mac Jones. So he's playing good. He's improved a lot from week 1, and in this quarterback class, he's proved that he's the best by far so far.
Yeah, I just people talked about it. He's the most pro-ready quarterback coming out of the draft, and people were scared to take him because of his physical attributes. You know who else people were scared to take because of their physical attributes? Tom Brady. Dude fell to the 6th round. Drew Bledsoe said it himself. He thought Tom Brady would be a career backup, greatest quarterback of all time now. You know, these guys, people have gotten so fixed on the Lamar Jacksons, the Justin Fields, the guys that look the part. Quarterback is not about being the most elite athlete. It helps. But tell me a guy that has consistently won you Super Bowls that has been an elite athlete at quarterback. Patrick Mahomes only has 1 Super Bowl. Russell Wilson only has 1 Super Bowl too, and he hasn't gotten back since the Patriots ended him. I mean, Manning, Brady, throw Eli Manning in there. Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowls. He's not a great athlete. I mean, yeah, you're shaking your head, right? We all should as Patriots fans. Like these elite athletes, but these guys threw it on time. They knew what they were doing. They were great throwing the ball accurately. They could check at the line of scrimmage, make things happen. I would love to see the time when, I know people say Patrick Mahomes is probably going to end with 4 or 5. I really want to see it. I do, because we've seen the Chiefs struggle this year because teams can just sit in 2 high shells and they can beat they can beat the Chiefs with that. You can't beat Brady with a 2 high shell. He's going to pick you apart with that.
Exactly. I mean, that's what these young quarterbacks who are athletic, they don't take the check down. They want big plays. They're so used to wanting to push the ball down the field. You just drop back into cover 2 and make them beat you by death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's not going to happen for some of these guys. And once they learn that, I think it's going to be scary if Mahomes starts to really take those check downs and take those underneath throws that the defense gives him. But I mean, yeah, you can continue with the point, but it's just, I don't. Those guys struggle with that sometimes, which is weird. A lot of the times the pocket quarterbacks are better at reading the football field and taking what's given to them. I do want to actually touch on this real quick. Like man and zone, one's not better than the other. I agree with you in a sense, but also, I mean, man and zone coverage are better for certain situations, obviously. But I disagree with you in the sense that one is better versus certain quarterbacks. A lot of quarterbacks struggle with man more and are better against zone, like Tom Brady. If you have good man coverage corners, that is going to make Tom Brady struggle a lot more than if you play heavy zone coverage. I mean, he can pick you apart. He knows all the holes in the defense. If he recognizes your coverage, he says, oh, you're playing cover 2. He's going to hit you where your hole is, where the soft spot is in the zone. He's going to have his receivers sit there. You're playing cover 3, then he's going to do the same thing. So it's better and worse for different quarterbacks in different situations. So yes, one might not be better than the other overall, but it also depends on your scheme and the people you have. Your man coverage might be better for you if you have the guys to play man. Zone coverage might be better for you if you have the guys to play zone, and you have quarterbacks who struggle against zone, but it's different for everybody. So I don't think it's a one size fits all by any means, but they're both very different. And some quarterbacks struggle with one versus the other. Some defenses struggle with one versus the other in playing it.
Yeah, you're. Someone said it in the comments right here. Zone is beating Mahomes. I mean, he's gonna have his successes, but consistently, he's not gonna beat zone like we've seen Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. I mean, Phillip Rivers, guys like that made long careers in the NFL. You're just not seeing them consistently beat them anymore. And Patrick Mahomes and these guys, they're great quarterbacks. Like, I'm not saying they're not, but you're starting to see ways to beat these quarterbacks that are big armed, guys that don't take the check down very often because they want the big plays. You're seeing, smart minds in the NFL start to find ways to beat them. And we'll see how well they adjust to that and adapt, because it could be, how long is their career going to last? That could be the question.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Jonnu revenge game. He knows the Titans defense's moves. I hope so. We need a big game from Jonnu. Patrick said you're thinking of Seattle cover 3. There's more zones than that. Yeah, the cover 2, cover 4, cover 1, which is more of a man-to-man coverage. Yeah, there's obviously different zones and different things beat different zone coverages. But overall, like you said, zone is beating Mahomes. It's zone might beat Mahomes. Man might beat Brady. It's different for every quarterback, and there's different zone coverages that more quarterbacks struggle with. And if you're switching it up and you're rotating your safeties and disguising your coverage well until after the snap, it makes it a lot harder for each quarterback. I think only Big Ben and Brady has more than one ring. Am I missing someone?
I mean, of active quarterbacks right now, no, I can't think of anyone you're missing, because, I mean, even when Drew Brees was active, he only had one.
Does Russ really only have one?
Yeah, Russ only has one. He's only been to 2 Super Bowls, and he lost to the Patriots.
Oh, yeah, because they were trying to go back-to-back, right?
They were trying to go back-to-back.
Eli's retired.
Brady,
obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see it. A lot of guys, like, I mean, getting 2 Super Bowls, getting
does
3
Jimmy
Super
G have
Bowls?
2?
I mean, was
As
he?
a backup?
Come on.
Hey,
we're not
quarterback.
that.
He might. I don't know. He might have only been there for one of them, but I know he at least has one ring.
No, I'm pretty sure he was there for 2, because he was there for the first. He was there for the Seahawks game, and that was the one that.
Oh yes, yep.
And then he might have 3.
He might. All right, Jimmy G. Hey, there you go.
Put him
That's
in
more of a
it.
pocket quarterback
Put
too.
Jimmy G in.
That's funny.
So no, but kind of getting back to the Titans game preview and stuff like that. Like Bill Belichick is going to be very good, or very going to do very well with disguising his coverages. We kind of went on a tangent about how different zones beat different quarterbacks, different coverages. There's no other quarterback or no other coach in the NFL that can adapt to the game and adapt week to week, like Bill Belichick can. So I'm excited to see what he has against Tannehill this week. Their offense has been very stagnant as of late with Derrick Henry gone, and I don't think the run game really scares New England right now. They know they have to shut down A.J. Brown. If he's fully healthy, he's kind of been a little bit of a concern. And so we'll see how they do that. But we're going to have a guest come on for the first time. We haven't done this yet, but we're going to have a guest come on right now. We're going to try to start adapting this in. So instead of just answering questions in the comments, maybe kind of do a little Q&A and be able to have you guys come in. But we're going to have, this is Boston.headline on Instagram. He's a, frequent viewer. So if you want to go follow him, but we're going to have him come in. We're going to have him ask a couple, maybe one, two questions, depending on time before we get into our game picks about the Titans game, just a little preview. And then we will answer his question, me and Cole both, and see what he has to say. But he is coming in. Oh, he's audio only. Are you there, Boston Headline? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing?
Good. So I just had two questions that I just came up with. One of them was, who is the most underrated player on the team, offense and defense, in your guys' opinion?
Ooh, that's a good one. You go first, Chase.
Okay.
We'll get your opinion too, Boston Headline after we go.
Yeah, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to go offensively. Let's go offensively for me. Underrated, I think someone that stepped in, and obviously we're seeing it right now because he's not getting pulled out of the starting lineup, is Ted Karras.
That was what I was going to say.
Like, I mean, he stepped in and no one's hearing of him. He stepped in, and Michael Winu, who everyone thought, I mean, he still is one of our best offensive linemen. He's not starting anymore because they feel so comfortable with Ted Karras on that offensive line. And people have said because he's a leader, he's an experienced guy, maybe not playing time wise, but in the NFL, he's taking some pressure off of the offensive line, and they're playing great as a whole. So I'm going to go with Ted Karras for my offensive guy. Cole, what about you?
Yeah, Ted Karras was going to be mine as well. Samuel says Kendrick Bourne in the comments. That was going to be my other one, KB. The only reason that I was going to go with Ted over him is I feel like Kendrick Bourne's starting to get more recognition, at least within Pats Nation. A lot of the Patriots fans kind of seem like they recognize what he's doing and are happy with his production. But I mean, as of underrated, if you told me Kendrick Bourne would be doing what he's doing right now when we first signed him, I'd absolutely be thrilled. I think he's playing extremely well. Not only is on the field, but is off the field. He's meshing with his team, his teammates. This team really could use his energy, and it's great to see him meshing so well. So I'd say Kendrick Bourne for my offensive one, outside of Ted Karras. I think that'd be my top one. But defensively, I'm going to go with Dietrich Wise. I think overall we gave him a bigger contract this year, and he hasn't. I mean, in the past, he hasn't necessarily performed up to what the contract we paid him this year. But I will say Dietrich Wise has been making his fair share of plays. He's putting pressure on the quarterback, good stopping the run game. He's been a lot better this year. I think this year has probably been his best year with us so far, and he's starting to live up a little bit more to that contract we gave him.
Yeah, Dietrich Wise, that's a great one. Jawan Bentley, I think he's kind of a guy where he's played so well that he's getting the recognition. A guy that I think has come on the last couple of weeks, I'm going to go with Miles Bryant. I think Miles Bryant is underrated, and we kind of had that question mark of what are we going to do with John Jones gone now? Like, who's going to fill in? And I don't think that he's played as well as John Jones has, but we definitely haven't noticed a hole in John Jones' position since he's gone out and Miles Bryant has stepped in. Now, he's not going to come in and beat John Jones out by any means, but he has been a great backup these last couple of weeks and a fill-in for the rest of the season, as John Jones, we know isn't going to be there. So that's mine. I'm going to go with Miles Bryant the last couple of weeks. But Boston Headline, what about yours?
For defense, I was gonna go with Kyle Duggar, because he leads the team in like tackles with 71. I gotta pull up the stats really quick.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle Duggar's a guy where he was a rookie a couple years ago, and a lot of people are like, why are we trading back out of the first round to draft a Division II guy out of Lenore-Rhine? And I agree. Outside of Patriots Nation, I don't think people knew who Kyle Duggar was. And after last game, especially on primetime football Thursday night, even the first half, I don't know how people don't know about Kyle Duggar if you watch football, because he has been a menace on the field.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Especially, I mean, even last year, Duggar was all over the field tackles wise. He had that game against the Ravens where he led in tackles. He had, I don't remember how many exactly, but he had a ton of tackles. And this year, I mean, especially the past few games, he's certainly flashed. He's playing really, really good football right now, and his coverage ability has improved a tremendous amount from last year. I think that's the biggest jump that he's made is in coverage. He's a lot more of a reliable coverage guy than he was last season. He was kind of a liability on tight ends. He couldn't really cover guys, and I think he refined his techniques a lot this offseason, and he's great as a coverage guy. In the run game, he's never been an issue. He can shoot the gap. I mean, in the run game, he's one of the better safeties in the league at doing that, and he's definitely extremely underrated outside of Patriots fans. But if you watch this guy on the field and the plays he makes, you definitely say, who's that number 23 guy? He flashes. And if you never watched the Patriots and you never watched much football, and you definitely notice that guy popping off the screen. He can lay the boom, some big hits, good, solid in coverage, and in the run game, he's flying all over the place, making plays all the time. So sideline to sideline, his run and his coverage ability, his run stopping ability is really impressive. So I've been extremely impressed with Duggar this year.
For sure. What about your offensive guy?
For offense, I was gonna say Kendrick Bourne. I really like his energy and like all the stuff I've seen on Instagram, and that like he's always there to hype someone up. Like the whole team hyped Jacoby Myers up when he got that touchdown, and then Kendrick Bourne always goes to Hunter Henry whenever he scores a touchdown. So I just really like him. And then I had this other stat that Kendrick Bourne was with the 49ers for 4 years, and he didn't have like a single rush, and he's been with the Patriots for less than a year and has, I don't know.
I think 4.
Yeah, and then he already has like a touchdown too, with like 90-something yards, I think.
Yeah, that's a classic example of, Patriots finding a guy that they can fit into their game plan and take advantage and find a way to utilize him in a way the previous team did not. And I think that I've been very impressed with Kendrick Bourne on jet sweeps. He's kind of a long strider, and once he gets going, he's hard to catch. And he's been close on a couple more touchdowns and a couple long passes too. So I agree. Kendrick Bourne has been a guy since day one on social media where he was vocal and he made this team fun. He adds youth to the team. He's a Division I FCS guy out of Eastern Washington. A guy that wasn't highly drafted. He came out of the same college as Cooper Kupp did, and he's made a name for himself in the league. And I think he's close to his career high in receptions, and he still has 6 games to go. So he's made a name for himself. I agree. I'd put him up there as my number 2.
Yeah, I like what Bourne's done. It says right here he's had 6 attempts, 78 yards. 4 first downs though, and averaging 13 yards a carry. That's pretty good for a wide receiver. I really like the package we have with him right now, where he comes across the field in motion, and we fake the handoff to him and run it up the middle, or we hand it off to him, and it puts the defense in a bit of a bind. You either got to try to stop the run or try to stop Kendrick Bourne flying around the edge. But one or the other, whichever guy you commit there, if you guess the right way, you might stop it. If you don't, then we might get a rush for 8 to 12 yards, depending on who we hand it off to. So I have been happy with what Kendrick Bourne's done. I think we've used his skill set really well this year, and he has been close. He talked about it today or yesterday in his interview, where he's been close to breaking a couple tackles and breaking some big plays. So he's really popped, and I think the potential he has, if he continues to have this success, I think he's going to have a great year, and he's already on pace to break his career high in receptions and receiving yards by far. So he's definitely had a career year with us here so far.
Awesome. And then did you have one more question for us?
It wasn't really a question, but
Okay.
What's your guys' thoughts on that Matt Judon macaroni and cheese steak?
Oh, I love the question. I love this topic. I am a mac and cheese guy. How don't you love something with cheese on it? Like, doesn't cheese just make everything better?
I mean, especially like a good baked mac and cheese. That's one of my favorite. I mean, baked mac and cheese is so good. With the breadcrumbs and all the cheeses and it's delicious. I personally haven't seen it as much as a Thanksgiving thing. Like in my family, I don't think we've had mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese often, but
Yeah.
it's been brought up. Apparently, a lot of people do it at Thanksgiving, and apparently it's kind of a thing. But overall, I mean, I heard when I watched the Elite Eats with Van Noy that Judon didn't like mac and cheese. He said that when he had his kid next to him, and he said his kid loves it, his wife loves it, but he doesn't like it. So I don't really know how you hate mac and cheese. I guess if you're not a huge cheese guy, then that obviously is one reason. But a good baked mac and cheese is a lot different than like a box of Kraft mac and cheese. That's really good. I'm really a big fan of the baked.
Yeah, I'm excited. Boston headline. Before we let you go, I gotta ask: if you had to get rid of one Thanksgiving dish, what would it be?
One Thanksgiving, what?
One Thanksgiving side or dish. Matt Judon said mac and cheese. What would be your Thanksgiving dish that you would get rid of?
Oh God. See, I've been a picky eater because I don't know, it's just been my whole life. And I'm just gonna be straight up honest with you guys. You might find this crazy, but I've never had mac and cheese in my life.
What?
So you agree?
No.
You agree with him?
I mean, I don't know if I can really agree because I haven't really
Tried it.
Mhm.
but I don't really know.
Squash is a good one. I'd say squash. I'm not a huge squash fan. That or what's your what would be yours, Jace?
I am not a green bean fan, so green bean casserole.
Oh no.
Yeah, I don't like green beans, so
I just tried green bean casserole last year for the first time, and it was awesome. That's one of the things I'm most hyped for this year is having that again. Green bean casserole is great. Mac and cheese, cream corn. I mean, obviously stuffing, mashed potatoes, all that stuff. Oh,
I think Samuel agrees with me. He said green bean casserole. He might agree with me.
Which way is green bean casserole, good or bad?
Yeah.
I love it. Jace doesn't like it. Squash would be kind of mine that I'd get rid of. Yes,
It smells like crap.
No,
we won't say that. So that's funny.
Maybe it wasn't made right for you guys. Maybe I got a different recipe that was made. Maybe it was wrong. But the one I tasted, I liked it. I thought it was good. But I'm not too picky with like veggies and stuff. I don't mind like baked green beans or broccoli, stuff like that. I'm overall pretty good with veggies. Squash is one of them that I'm not a fan of. I think that's more of a texture thing than anything. But green bean casserole, no, huh? That's a good question, though. That's a good question.
No for me, but
conversation.
Boston headline. We appreciate you coming on. Have a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you want to come on again.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. Have a good Thanksgiving. Hopefully everything's good with you there, and hopefully we'll have you on again sometimes if we end up making this a thing.
I'm pretty nervous, so thanks to Cole and Jace for having me here.
Thank you.
I was texting Cole saying how nervous I was.
Well, you did great. You killed it. You're the first person we've tried it with, and I couldn't think of anyone better. So we appreciate the questions.
Yeah, no, you did good. I was way more nervous sounding than you were my first time doing this with Jay. So I thought you did good. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. See you guys.
We'll see you. Yeah, guys, we're gonna try to keep doing that more and more with more of you guys so we can hear your voices. And if you have a camera, you can put your face on here, but keep dropping in your Thanksgiving dishes that you hate. I love listening to this, but let's get into our picks unless you have anything else. You have anything else?
What I have a question actually, Thanksgiving related. What is yams?
Oh, yams. That's a good question, but I can just think of what it looks like right now. I'll pull up a picture of it.
Do you know what it is?
It's kind of like a sweet potato, but it's different.
What are yams?
Yeah, so there's like canned yams too.
Sweet potato.
Yeah, but it's what is it? I don't even know.
A true yam is a starchy edible root of the something gene. Interesting.
Off-brand photo.
Off-brand potato.
Oh, potato. Sorry, I have dyslexia. Off-brand potato. That's funny.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever had yams, so that's one. I think people call different stuff. I think Judon said another name for stuffing that I hadn't heard before. I guess some people in the South call it something different than stuffing, but it's basically the same thing. I don't know what it's called, but I've never had yams before.
Stuffing. That I love stuffing.
I do too.
So
I do too. What do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what another name for stuffing is?
Oh, oh gosh, I think I do. It's I can't think of it. It's gonna come to me when we're doing our game picks.
Dressing.
Dressing. Yes, you got it. Dressing.
I had
So my grandma calls it dressing, and I don't know if it's like if it kind of like switched names like at when she was 40 or something, and she just never adapted into calling it stuffing. But she'll always be like, "Come get you some dressing." I'm like, "I got some gravy on my potatoes. I don't need it."
Yeah, I love stuffing. I mean, I do put gravy on it sometimes, but I if I do, I only put it on like half because I like stuffing by itself as well. I've never heard anybody call it dressing, and when Judon said that the other day in an interview, I was like, "What is that? I've never heard of that before." Candy yams is underrated. I've never had any of it. Like I don't think I'd heard of yams until like a couple of years ago for the first time because I don't think we've ever had them here. Michael, again, thanks for coming on. We'll definitely have to do this again. And I thought you did great. So thank you for the good questions and good conversation. That was fun. Turkey or ham on Thanksgiving? Oh boy, this is an easy one for me. But what you got?
This is I just always go with turkey, but I love ham too.
I do like ham a lot, but I don't really have ham a lot on Thanksgiving. As like turkey is like that's Thanksgiving. It's not Thanksgiving without turkey in my eyes.
Yes.
Like if you had to pick one, you got to go with turkey in my opinion, just because it's dressing is a down south thing. Up north, it's mostly called stuffing. Yeah, I live way up north in the U.S., so that's it. I've only heard of it as stuffing.
Do you do dark meat or white meat for turkey? I
do white meat.
Yeah, it's usually what I do too.
I've tried the dark meat a couple times, and it's not bad, but I don't know. I used to be more of a picky eater than I have been in the past few years. I think my taste buds have changed a lot, so I've tried a lot more things than I used to, but the white meat I usually go with. That's good. Turkey, save ham for Easter. Exactly. That's kind of my thought. I mean, ham has its own thing on Easter. Turkey has its ham / pork is a no, unless it's Thanksgiving only. Yeah, I agree. White turkey. That's what we go with. And then ham, I think it gets made sometimes, but that's more of a like Easter thing. Or ham has its own special holidays. Leave the turkey for Thanksgiving and go with that.
I agree. Well, that's a good little Thanksgiving rant. I
like this. I think we should do some more questions like this in conversations. It's fun getting random questions, getting the viewers' opinions on stuff like that. You guys can keep dropping your favorite Thanksgiving dish and one you would take off the table or you hate, whatever you don't want at Thanksgiving, and we might touch on it while we do our picks and stuff. But that was fun.
Yeah, let's keep them rolling. Let's get into hot takes. Where's Pat Scout IG? You had a hot take. You said turkey for sure. That might be a hot take, but Cole, do you have one right off the top of your head right now? Or
I don't. Let's do you have one off the top of your head?
Oh, this one's tough, man, because I feel like I've said a lot of my hot takes now. I don't want to repeat. But I'm gonna go with, does Mac Jones have his first 400-yard game? I think so. I'm gonna repeat with that. Prime time. Well, not prime time. It's an 11 o'clock game. It should be prime time, but 11, I'm gonna go back to my Mac Jones first 400-yard game. Because I think that this rushing defense is pretty competent, and they have allowed this defense has played good, and like you mentioned, their struggles have came in the secondary. So I'm gonna go there, and dang, Ron Dog said it. Or Rune Dog. Jonnu 2 touchdowns, 100+ yards. I was thinking of going something with Jonnu. Is that kind of the direction you were going?
If Jonnu has that type of game, I mean, I already have his jersey, but I'll be so happy. I don't think anybody having a bigger game than I don't think I'd rather have anybody have a big game than Jonnu, just because he's so due, and I just want to see what he looks like really in this offense. So, I'm excited. I hope he does do that. JC has 2 interceptions. That'd be good too. If AJ Brown plays, that might be tougher, but mine I was leaning towards was Kendrick Bourne, 100 yards and a touchdown. That was I don't think he's had a 100-yard receiving game yet. Maybe he's had one, but that would be my, I guess, hot take. It's not as hot as maybe Mac Jones for 400 yards, but that's kind of the only one I got right now that I'm thinking of. 2 touchdowns as well for Jonnu. Patriots beat Titans by 21 plus, and Jonnu goes off for 8 catches, 100 yards. I would love that.
That sounds like a dream come true, right?
If that's the case, immediately this Super Bowl conversation has to be real. You know what I mean? If that's they have that kind of game against the Titans team, who's number one right now, even though they're missing a ton of pieces, they're still a good football team and are capable. They got great coaches and can put out a good performance. So that would be great. Jonnu gets involved and we win by 3+ touchdowns. That would be a big game.
Okay, I'm going to go with one more, and I feel like this is kind of contradicting to my Mac Jones 400-yard take. Maybe it's not because it's yardage. I'm going to go with we have a rusher. So Damian Harris or Ramondre Stevenson has 3 touchdowns. I'm going to go with 3. We've seen Damian Harris get 2. We've seen Ramondre Stevenson get 2. I'm going to go with one of them. I don't care who it is, but one of them is going to have 3 touchdowns this week.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 3.
I like that.
We have one rusher get 3 touchdowns. That's going to be my last one.
Yikes. I would love to see that. Let's see if I can come up with one defensively. I've said Miles Bryant get a pick before. That hasn't happened. I'll say, this isn't that hot of a take. Maybe Van Noy gets another sack and first forces another turnover one way or another. And then maybe Barmore gets a sack. Barmore and Kyle Van Noy combine for 2 sacks and one of them forces a turnover, forced fumble.
I got a defensive hot take for you.
All right, let's hear it.
Jawan Williams interception.
Oh.
Let's move on. We'll take it there because I feel like we're just scorching right now.
Oh boy, wow. Yeah, that'd be something else, wouldn't it?
That would be. Let's get into our game picks, though. So we'll start off with the Patriots. The line on Sunday at 1:00, CBS. Patriots by 7. Me and Cole were talking about this. This seems like a lot, but when you look at it, Patriots at home, Patriots rolling, Titans, coming off of a loss, missing a couple guys. I see it both ways. I see where this is a big spread, especially when the Titans are the 1 seed. And then I see it where, people are high on the Patriots. But Cole, what is your prediction for this? Well, I guess we should update people on the standings for the spread, right?
Oh,
for our
okay.
picks last week. Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Yep. Let me pull that up real quick. So last week, on the over-unders, I went 6-2. Jace went 3-5. Spread predictions, I went 4-2. Jace went 3-3. So kind of a decent week there for both of us for the spread. Total on the year over/under, I am 26-24. Jace is 24-26. Spread predictions, I am 27-17. Jace is 22-22. So right at 500. And then score predictions, I have 4 wins. Jace has 3. I won last week with the closer score there, but overall in the year, we're pretty close there. So last week wasn't the best week, but pretty solid overall. Carl Davis gets a sack. He's made an impact in the running game for sure. So I wouldn't be shocked. I guess with that, he's less of a pass rusher in my opinion than the some of the other guys. Like Barmore is definitely more of a pass rusher than guys like Carl Davis. Maybe he's more refined in his technique there, I guess. But as a run defender, Carl Davis has been really good. Matt Judon gets 4+ sacks. Realistically, Pats by 10. Y'all are goated. Thank you, Rune Dog. Judon gets 4+ sacks. That'd be a heck of it. That'd jump him right into the defensive player of the year conversation right off the bat. So,
all right. Well, we updated the stats. I know I suck, so geez, I'm never betting. But we have it: Patriots, Titans, 7. Patriots favored by 7 right here. I'm gonna take the Patriots covering this. I think that the Patriots are gonna keep rolling. We're at home. We've gotten all of our home losses out of the way. Patriots roll. Defense is playing lights out, missing 2 of their best weapons. Well, I wouldn't say 2 of their best. Obviously, one of the best weapons in the NFL, and Derrick Henry, and Julio Jones is always a nice complimentary piece to a young A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown dealing with some injuries sustained last week and honestly throughout the whole year. So I'm going to go Patriots covering this 7-point spread. I have faith. We're rolling. We're going to keep this train moving forward.
I'm going to go with the Titans covering. That's all I'll give away so far. I'm going to go with Titans covering. I think their defense is playing really well. 7 points is a big spread for a team that's number 1 in the AFC right now. So even with a couple pieces out, we'll see what the situation with AJ Brown is. But I got the Titans covering this one. I think it's going to be a close game either way. and it should be a good one. But both defenses are playing really well. I think it's going to come down to a pretty close scoring game. So that's my pick on that.
Awesome. Cole, I'm not seeing the graphic for our scores. Do you have that up right here?
I am saving it. I'm
okay.
saving it right now.
Perfect.
You go with the over-unders for now. We'll do that.
Okay, yeah. So we'll come back to our score predictions, but let's go. Mac Jones, over or under 232 passing yards. He's been short of this his last couple games. And two of his last 3 games, I'm pretty sure. Sorry, I'm pulling it up right here. Only 207 last week, 198 against Cleveland, and 139 against Carolina, and then 217 against the Chargers. So he hasn't hit this number in 4 weeks. What are you saying?
Okay, I got the score prediction. Do you want to go back to that?
Well, let's answer
first.
this one.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll go with under on this one. Just I think it's going to be a close game. I think defensively they have some similarities with what the Falcons can do, except they have maybe more talented pieces and can create more pressure up the middle. And Simmons is a beast, so I'm going to go with under. I think it'll be pretty close though, so I think that's a pretty good line.
All right, I'm going over here. Obviously, one of my hot takes is 400 yards, and that's definitely over 232.5. But I'm going to go Mac Jones bounce back. Like, he hasn't been playing bad, and obviously we've won those 4 games. He's sewn under it, but I think that the suspect part of this defense is going to be the passing game, and we're going to be able to take advantage of that. And so I'm going to go with him having a better passing yardage game than what he has had, and I'm going to go with him covering or going over this. But let's go back to our score predictions.
Oh, wait.
Over under. You're right. Sorry.
There we go.
Shield your eyes, guys.
Yeah, don't look. Close your eyes.
Don't look. Over under 44 points is what it's set at. Cole, over under. Do you have it?
I got the under on this one, just barely. I think I got 43 points total. Just like I said, kind of how I think the game will go. Lower scoring, defensive battle. It's going to be tough for both offenses to score, I think, especially if they're missing A.J. Brown. It's going to be really tough for the Titans to score, I think, even though they added Golden Tate. That's a piece that, I mean, obviously he's not anything too special, but I think he'll be integrated in that offense pretty quickly, and especially as a slot guy, if Miles Bryant's on him in man coverage, that's not a great matchup necessarily, even though he's been playing well in zone so far. So I got the under on this one.
All right, and my score prediction actually adds up to 44 points, but I'm going to hit the over because I don't know. Cole pick the under. I'm going to go with the over here. I'm going to say that, if it gets to 44, I think that it's going to go over. That's all I'm going to say there, because when you pick right on with Vegas, that's what it is. But here's our score predictions. You ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You dirty dog.
I'm not going to say Jace? What you got, Jace?
Samuel, Pats by 10. Realistically, I agree. 27-17 New England right here. I'm going to go with New England keeping it rolling, winning by 10, covering the 7 points, and getting the win.
I originally had Titans by 3. I want to say Pats by 3.
I shaved you into it.
No, I don't know. I'm concerned about this game. I think it's setting up to possibly be a letdown game, just because, I mean, this team's rolling. We're kind of trending up. Tennessee was kind of trending down the past couple of weeks with a couple tough games. They're losing a lot of pieces, but I just don't love the matchup with Vrabel. We've struggled against him, 0-2, I think, against him in the past couple of years. I don't know. I just don't love it. Scheme wise, I think they're going to be able to mess with Mac Jones a little bit. That's why I think it's going to be low scoring. But my prediction either way is 23-20, Pats or Titans. I'm gonna, officially go Pats. And if we lose this game, all I gotta say is I told you so about the whole superstition thing, and that part's real. So I'm gonna go with Pats winning this one 23-20. But I think it could be setting up to be a letdown game and lose a close one against Tennessee at home. It's going to be a cold game. We'll see how Mac does. Probably coldest game of his career, I'd say, with him being from Florida. So it's going to be tough. I think either way, close game, defensive game, and it's going to be a super fun one to watch. I will say that. It's going to be the biggest game of the year.
I'm excited. So far. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Back to our picks, over-unders now. Ryan Tannehill, 254.5 yards. If you want to bring that comment back up, I was going to. Yeah, I mean, he hit it right on the head, right? AP's released. Jeremy McNichols shouldn't run all over us. I have this line set pretty high, and Ryan Tannehill, 323 yards last week against Houston, 213 against New Orleans, 143 against the Rams, and then 265 and 270 against Indianapolis and KC. He's averaging on the season 243 yards per game. But I put it up a little higher because no Derrick Henry. I think that he's gonna have to throw for this. I'm gonna hit the under here. I don't think that he hits this. I think that this is high and he has the ability, but with the way New England's defense is playing, I'm not gonna have him getting this.
I have the under as well. He obviously went way over that against Houston last week, but I think this is a completely different game. I hope he throws it a bunch of times because the more the ball's in Ryan Tannehill's hands, the better I probably feel. I don't think he can take the game over by himself, especially if he's missing AJ Brown and Julio. That's big. Obviously, it'd be tough for most quarterbacks to do that, but I don't think he's that talented. I've just never been that high on Ryan Tannehill. I don't know why, but I think he heavily relies on Derrick Henry, and I think if he has most any other running back there, I don't think his numbers are nearly the same. The amount he benefits off play action with having Derrick Henry back there behind him is incredible, like we mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go with the under on this one as well. I think it could be close, but I don't know. Our defense has been playing well so far, so I'm going to stick to that.
I agree. Ramondre Stevenson, part of the dual-headed monster New England has back there. I'm going over or under 72.5 total yards. He had 69 rushing yards last week, 6 receiving yards, 100 rushing yards against Cleveland, 14 receiving yards, 62 rushing yards against Carolina, 44 receiving yards. He's been doing a lot of both. So I have this set at 72.5 total yards for Ramondre Stevenson.
I'm going to go with the over. I think it'll be good for him to get a little break too. He had a heavy rushing game against Cleveland and then had 12 carries, out rushed Damien Harris by 2 carries. I just think his factor in the receiving game is a bigger piece. I think especially this week in the screen game and stuff like that, I think that's going to be a big thing. This Tennessee defense is great up the middle, and they do have some speed to fly around a little bit, but I think setting up the screen and making those guys commit and then throwing a screen pass to Ramondre, I think that could have a nice effect this week. I know Tennessee's going to be prepared for it because it's Mike Vrabel. I don't think we're going to be able to run the ball that well necessarily, but I think in the passing game will be where Ramondre gets his yards.
I'm going to go under just to change it up. Obviously 69 yards last week and 6 receiving yards. And now that Damien Harris is back, I think they try to continue to split carries and keep it similar. He is averaging very, very good yards per carry. This year it is at 4.6 yards per carry. So he has the ability, but I'm going to go with the under here. Brandon Bolden's going to have pass catching abilities. I think that he's going to be a little limited. So I'm going to go with the under here, change it up a little. But I hope that it's 71 yards, and it was close, but it was still the under. AJ Brown, one of the only weapons that big time weapon that Ryan Tannehill has and the Titans have. And I have him set at 52.5 yards. Struggled the last couple weeks, but against Kansas City and Indianapolis, 133 yards and 155 yards. He has that big play ability. He's averaging 61 yards per game this year. So 52.5, because the last 3 weeks he's only had 48, 16, and 42 receiving yards.
So this is what's tough for me is if he was fully healthy and was taking his normal snaps, I'd go over because I don't love this matchup for us. Honestly, I don't love AJ Brown on JC Jackson. I think we'll have to pay a lot of attention to him, but one-on-one, I think you can throw a ball up with AJ Brown and JC Jackson, and AJ Brown's probably going to come down with it most of the time. So I don't love that matchup. I think Tannehill likes taking those shots, likes taking those risks, which is good if you have a guy that can cover it, but JC is not as big of a dude as AJ Brown. He's a big dude, so he's hard to cover one-on-one, and I think we'll have to have some safety help, but I just think, especially with the question mark if he's playing or not, I think he obviously he didn't practice today. I do think he plays. I do think he'll end up playing, but I think he will be a little bit limited. I think it's too big of a game for him to miss, especially Tennessee wins this game like we talked about. They probably lock up 1 seed. If they lose this game, it's going to be much more of a battle for that 1 seed the rest of the year for Tennessee, even though they still can very well do it. They have an easy schedule, but I'm going to go with the under just because I think he might be a little bit limited, but I don't think this is a great matchup for JC, and I don't love it. I think he could get 52 yards on 2 catches if Tannehill takes enough a couple shots to him and he comes down with it. So I don't love the pick. If he was healthy, I'd definitely go over, but I'm going to go under on this one just because he's really one of their only weapons right now. And I think Belichick's good at taking away their biggest weapon.
Yeah, that's the thing that scares me is they do such a good job. New England does such a good job at taking away the main guy. And AJ Brown's far and away the main guy here. But you said it, JC Jackson's nowhere near his height, nowhere near as physical as him. So I'm going to go with the over here. And I think that it's because if Tennessee wants to win this game, they have to force feed him the ball. And that's scary because, like you mentioned, didn't practice today. He's injured. What is his health going to look like? I mean, he's dealing with multiple injuries. It was a rib injury and then it was a hand injury, both last week, I'm pretty sure, in the game, because I have him on my fantasy team. And I look and they're like, oh, he returned from his rib injury. And then like 5 plays later, I swear they're like, oh, now he's getting checked out his
Chest
fingers
injury.
or wrist or something. And
on the injury report, he was listed as chest. So that's his for
chest,
this week. That's what
yeah. So
probably ribs area, something like that.
So I don't know. I'm going to go with the over here though, just because the matchup scares me alone. And, but then again, I could very well see Bill taking him away and holding him to no catches. And I would love that, but I'm trying to catch you in this, and
one of us is going to do great this week.
For sure.
One of the two of us is going to do great. The other one is going to do absolutely horrible. So
yes,
if it's you that does great, we're right back together in the standings. But
yes,
hopefully I do great because I have all the unders so far for the Titans. So, but you have the over for Mac Jones, I think, right?
I do.
Okay, so
yeah,
I want you to get that one right at least. How's that?
Okay. All right. Well, let's go, Johnny Smith. Redemption game going against his former team right here. Only had 1 touchdown on the year against Tampa Bay. Do you have him scoring a touchdown? I already know what you're going to say.
I don't. He hasn't done anything for us this year. It sucks. I love Jonnu. I was so excited for him as a signing. I'm not concerned long term, but this year his production doesn't seem like he's catching up too quick in the system and meshing well with what they want to do. So I think next year he will have a better year. I'm not concerned long term, but I'm starting to get concerned a little bit because he just hasn't done much. I'd love to see it, especially going up against his former team, the Titans. I mean, you want to score, you want to do well, but I mean, I could see us using him in a gadget play like Tennessee used to use him, and maybe he scores, but overall he just hasn't done it enough for me to be confident picking the over on this one. So I'm gonna have to go under.
All right. Well, I'll be confident. I'm gonna go over. Give it to me. I love it. I want him to do it. I think New England's gonna, like you mentioned, gadget plays, screen passes. Maybe he's a man on a mission and gets in. So I'm gonna go over here. Matt Judon, over or under 3.5 quarterback hurries. He has hit this in 2 of his last 3 games, and he had 3 in the only one that he didn't get over 2.5 or 3.5. So Matt Judon been amazing on the field, amazing this year. What do you have for over under here?
I'm going to go with under just because I believe that Vrabel's a good enough coach to start the game plan for a guy like Judon when he's seeing consistently that he's making this much of an impact during the game. I think Judon will get his fair share and he'll make an impact like he always does. But I think overall Tennessee is going to, especially with Tannehill, Tennessee is going to control kind of what they do in the running and the passing game. And I think that he's going to make a priority of stopping Judon, because if you stop Judon and you pay attention to Barmore, there's not a ton of guys who are great rushing the passer necessarily on this team, especially we lost Uche. Winovich is up and down. He's pretty streaky with his pass rush ability. Van Noy is good when he does rush, but he hasn't rushed a ton this year. He's not usually going after the quarterback. He's usually playing in coverage or stopping the run. In passing, he's usually in coverage. So that's kind of what we've seen so far, him on running back, stuff like that. So Judon, I'm going to go with under, but I hope it's over. I hope he has 10, 15 hurries. That'd be great.
Yep. Give me the over here. He has only gotten under 3 in 4 games this year.
Have we been the same on any yet?
I
don't think we have.
Tannehill.
Different
Tannehill.
on Mac. Oh, we all said under.
Under. That's
okay.
it.
Yep. Okay. All right.
That's good.
All right.
That's good. So I'm gonna go over here, and then last one, Patriots defense, over or under 1.5 turnovers created, fumbles, interceptions, whatever, over or under 1.5.
All right. So I got a clarification question.
Okay.
Does turnover on downs count?
I'm going to say yes. I
Okay.
think it should because, I mean, that when you think about it, that's a change of possession right there that
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
It's a
yeah,
turnover.
I think it should.
Technically.
I think it
Okay.
should.
All right. And then how about block punts, block kicks, all that stuff? Is that
No, let's just go defense.
okay?
That would be impressive, but let's just stick defense. So turnover on downs, fumble or interception.
And is this if they get a fumble, if they force a fumble but they don't recover it, does that count or no?
They have to recover.
Okay, I'll go over. I'm gonna go over. Have confidence. Tannehill had a tough game last week. I do think he'll bounce back. I do think the Titans will bounce back, and it's going to be a really tough game. I don't think this game is going to be easy by any means. I understand everybody sees the weapons that they're missing and the pieces they're missing, but this is a really well coached football team, and they're really solid overall. So it's not going to be easy. Even with the way the Patriots are playing right now, this is going to be the toughest, probably the closest game of the year so far, and it's going to be a tough game. But I'm going to go over in hope that we have a good game, and I don't feel great about it, but hopefully we get at least one turnover and then maybe a turnover on downs later in the game when they have to go for it on fourth down or something like that. But I'm going to go over.
All right, I'm going to be the same as you. Go over. New England's averaging 1.6 interceptions per game, 2.7 in their last 3 games. So I'm going to continue with it. That's just interceptions too. And like you mentioned, a fourth down stop or a strip sack on Ryan Tannehill. I'm going to go with the over here. Thanksgiving football. Here we go. Game picks. Got to do better than last week. You were 6-2, and I was 3-5.
Yep.
I got to improve on that. So here we go. Bills at Saints. Bills 6.5-point favorite.
You want to go first or second?
I'll go first. Give me the Bills.
All right.
I think that this is a bounce back week. They got humiliated in a lot of aspects against the Colts. So I'm going to go bounce back week for the Bills here. It's scary because it's a Thursday night game. It's prime time, 8:00.
And the Saints are a good defense.
The Saints are a good defense, but I'm going to go bounce back. And I hate to say it because I wish they would lose, but I'm going to go bounce back.
I hate to agree with you, but I gotta agree with you here. I think Bills win this one by at least 10, 15 points. I think this is going to be a really big bounce back game for them. The Saints are missing Kamara. They're probably going to be missing Ingram. They got nobody. They're missing their starting quarterback along with their starting and backup running back. They're hurt offensively and a little bit defensively as well. So they're missing a bunch of pieces. Bills just got, like you said, embarrassed the other day against the Colts in a big game that was big for playoff standings and stuff. They don't want to be second in the AFC East, and we play a tough team in the Titans. So they would like to watch that game at home with a chance to be back on top of the division. So that's what sucks. Also, another thing that sucks about the Bills playing on Thursday, we play the Bills next week. So They have the extra 3 days of rest and film and preparing and all that stuff. So that sucks. Hopefully the Patriots started to use some of the extra time today, this week for the Titans a little bit and for the Bills, knowing that it's going to be a longer week for the Bills next week. But I'm going to go with the Bills as well. I think they win this one handedly.
All right, Bucks at Colts. Colts coming off a huge win. Bucks Monday Night Football win. Bucks 3-point favorite here, on the road. You want me to go first?
Don't matter to me.
Well, I know you're looking at it, so no need to keep a secret. Indianapolis 7-4 against the spread. Tampa Bay, where are they? 4-6. This is tough, but I'm going to go with the Bucks covering this because the Bucks have a very good run defense. And I think the Colts are still going to get theirs on the ground, but they're not going to do what they did against Buffalo, in my opinion. And I think that Brady can keep up with, we just talked about it, right? Josh Allen's been susceptible to 2 high safeties, game plans that can shut him down. You're not going to do that with Brady. So I'm going to go with the Bucks.
I'm going to go with the Bucks as well. It's basically who you think is going to win with the -3, unless they lose, unless the Colts lose by field goal. But I actually wasn't looking at the against the spread for the first 2, but
thanks for reminding you.
You just mentioned it. But I think the Bucks, like you said, if there's any team that can stop Jonathan Taylor right now, it's going to be the Bucks. Their rushing defense is really stout. So I think I still think Jonathan Taylor's going to have a solid game. It's Jonathan Taylor. He's not human right now the way he's running the football. Also, Quentin Nelson, I think, got hurt last game. I don't know how serious that is, but overall, the Bucks defense is starting to get some guys back. I think Sean Murphy Bunting came off IR. One of their corners.
And Vita Vea should be back this week. A big run stopper in the middle for them on that defensive line. So
yeah, so they're getting a little bit healthier on defense. I I don't love the matchup necessarily, but I think the Bucks defense can do enough, especially the Bucks offense really isn't playing, or the Bucks overall aren't playing good enough football right now to be where they want to be. And I think it's around Thanksgiving time, getting past Thanksgiving. That's when Brady is starting to want to play his best football, and I think he gets the job done.
For sure. All right. 425 game, Rams at Packers. This is kind of the same, you know. Rams favored by 1 point, but pick the winner here. Green Bay, best team against the spread in the NFL, 9-2. The Rams.
Last week they were 9-1, right? So the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go first or?
No, you got it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with the Rams, even though I mean pretty much all my picks this week aren't going with the against the spread, which is a little bit not. Doesn't make me feel too great, but I just think, I mean, the Packers, even though they're going to want to bounce back last week after losing to the Vikings, I just think that overall the Rams want to bounce back as well. They had a tough week a couple weeks ago. They had the bye week to prepare, hopefully get Odell up to caught up in the system and everything. And I just think this defense is going to want to bounce back, build some more chemistry. And this is a big one for the standings. If the Rams can win this one, they're right back kind of in the conversation for one of the top seeds in the NFC, even though they're behind the Cardinals right now. But it'd be a big game for them to take down Green Bay, just confidence wise as well.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers. Let's be a little bit different here. I think that's going to be pretty dang cold in Green Bay. You're coming from LA, coming off of a bye. It's supposed to be 33 degrees and overcast in.
Yeah, because I did not take that into consideration at
Lambeau.
all. So if I would have picked the Packers, but I can't change it now. It's too late.
So there you go. We'll be different on that one, and hopefully I don't regret that. But you talking to Siri over there?
I didn't mean to.
Is she trying to tell you who to pick?
Yeah, she said you should have picked the Packers.
That's because I texted you that. She's just reading it. Sunday Night Football, Browns at Ravens. This would help us if the Browns can win this one. Ravens should have lost last week, but Ravens favored by 4 at home. What do you got?
I got the Ravens. For that exact reason, because if the Ravens lose and we win, we take the 1 seed. And just for that reason, if we win, the Ravens are probably going to end up winning too, and we'll be at the 2 seed or something like that. So I'm going to take the Ravens. That way, if the Ravens lose, I'm happy, and if they win, I'm not happy. But at least I got the score prediction, the spread right. So I'll have to be semi happy either way.
So you took the Ravens.
Yeah.
Reverse psychology. Okay. I'm gonna go.
That was my thing for the Titans too, but I
you changed it. I'm gonna go with the Browns here. I think that this is a divisional game that's always tough. And
faith in Baker, huh?
No, not faith in Baker. Faith in everyone but Baker. Faith in 21 players. Not
they are getting Nick Chubb. They have Nick Chubb. They are getting Kareem Hunt back this week, I think. So that's big.
I just think that when you play a divisional team, the Browns are going to have a beat on how to slow down Lamar, how to beat him. I'm going to go with the Browns here, covering this 4-point spread.
You taking them?
I'm taking them to win
the game.
No, doesn't make me confident, but maybe we'll go last second Justin Tucker field goal. So I'm going to take the Browns covering it.
Hell yeah.
Monday Night Football.
At least you answered this time against the Steelers Chargers. You pled the fifth, so at least you gave an answer on this one.
Seahawks at the football team, Washington, 1.5 point favorite on Monday Night Football. That is shocking.
And when I made the graphic for this, I wrote out Seahawks, and then because I usually do the team that's favored minus whatever, and then I looked and I was like, Washington's favorite. What? I was a little bit shocked, but
I mean they beat Tampa Bay, and maybe they have something going, but
I know. I mean they played solid the past 2 games. I don't think the Seahawks can play this poorly for that long, right? They got to bounce back with Russ back. A couple weeks under his belt now. They have looked pretty horrible, but I got to think on prime time that they bounce back against the Washington football team. I don't know. Especially they're taking they're plus 1.5 points wise. I'll take the Seahawks on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. Go Seahawks here. I think that Russell Wilson has enough time bouncing back, and we've seen Seattle have some struggles on the defensive end, and I think that DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, guys like that can create a little bit of havoc back there, and you never know what Taylor Heineke you're gonna get. I mean,
Yeah.
Is it going to be the one that almost beat the Bucks in the playoffs last year, the one that did beat the Bucks, or is it going to be the bad Taylor Heineke? So I'm going to go with the Seahawks covering also. But
yeah, I gotta agree with you there.
Cool. Well, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanksgiving tomorrow. I'm sure you guys have family around or something like that, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Spend it with family. Enjoy. We wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for the continued support, and go Pats this week. Cole, you got anything?
Nope. Just enjoy your Thanksgiving, guys. If you're going somewhere, safe travels. Enjoy your time with your family. Tell them what you're thankful for, and enjoy this time to, get a day off and reflect and spend time with your loved ones. So I hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving. I hope nobody is too offended with the green bean casserole. I hope if nobody likes it, I hope nobody eats it and has to suffer through it. But I liked it. No, overall, everybody have a great Thanksgiving.
Wait, I got one more question. Sorry, the green bean casserole brought it up. What is your go-to pie? And you guys can comment if you're still in here, because I feel like there's so many different pies. Like, what's the go-to pie?
So, this is an easy one for me, and this is just me kind of going back to I don't mind. This isn't a veggie. I'm not saying it's a veggie pie or anything, but going back to, I don't mind. I've always liked fruits and vegetables pretty much. So I've always been a fruity, like pie person. If I could pick any pie to have, it'd be like a triple berry, apple pie, apple crisp, anything like fruit related pie. I love it. I mean, it's with like a scoop of vanilla ice cream with some apple crisp, or a triple berry pie with like blackberries, raspberries, maybe blueberries, or just, any fruity pie like that is something I love. Coconut cream pie is also really good. I don't turn down many pies. The only one I haven't really tried is like a pumpkin pie, stuff like that. But
the classic.
I don't think I've tried that before. I think really? I'm not a huge pumpkin fan necessarily. It's all right sometimes, but it's not like, if I was choosing, if I had choices, I'd go with something else. But if it was the only thing there, I'd probably try it. But overall, mine would probably be one of the fruity ones. How about you?
I'm gonna go with a chocolate one.
Chocolate.
I love chocolate pie, chocolate cream pie, whatever. I don't mind. We have one in our family. It's like called a razzleberry, kind of like what you're mentioning. I don't know if you ever had that, but it's a fruity pie. It's like blueberries, raspberries, stuff like that. So
Ooh,
I like that one, but my go-to, like if there's a decision on the table, chocolate cream pie. And I agree. Pumpkin pie is so basic. I've had it so much that I kind of am past that point. But it's not bad. You throw some whipped cream on there, and you feel like a pilgrim eating Thanksgiving dinner back on the plains. But mine's a chocolate cream pie. But I always think it's fun to listen to what type of pies people like, because there are really a lot of them. People get crazy with their pies.
It's funny how different everybody is with what they like on Thanksgiving and their traditions and what they don't. Judon doesn't like mac and cheese. Mac Jones hates apple pie. I don't know. It's I don't know how you can hate that, but everybody's got their own thing. But yeah, I'd have to go with that one. I always like the fruity ones. But they're all good. It's pie. You can't really go too wrong with that. But that was fun.
If you're complaining about a pie, you're spoiled. Pie is supposed to be the good part.
Exactly. That's what you're looking forward to. I honestly though, on Thanksgiving, the main course with the sides feel like not a dessert, but like I'm eating a lot and it's delicious. So Thanksgiving as a meal is good enough for me, but the desserts are just make it even better. But I usually got to wait 15-20 minutes because I'm stuffing my face with all the Thanksgiving stuff and the sides. So I got to wait a little bit, or I'll end up hurling on Thanksgiving, which that's no good. Yeah. But especially if I'm watching like the Lions Bears game and I'm eating pie. I'm gonna want to hurl watching the game.
Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's no good. I wish they had some better games on Thanksgiving. That kind of sucks, but
it does kind of suck. The Lions are one of the one teams that always plays.
They always suck. They always are horrible. So that's not always fun to watch, especially the Bears. Andy Dalton's playing. Jared Goff is playing for the Lions, which I guess that's better than their backup starting, but overall, it's going to be a not great game to watch. There's not really any good games.
It's the early one, right?
I think that's the first one.
Just get it out of the way.
Second one is Cowboys.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Who are they playing?
I have it right here. One sec. It is the
Raiders.
and then Buffalo Saints.
I should have known. I just did a design last night for a Cowboys page for the Thanksgiving game tomorrow. So I really should have known that. I literally just did that, but that one I guess will be all right. I don't know. CD's probably not going to play, so I guess that'll be closer than it would have been. But the Cowboys should still win that one. But
yeah,
overall, Thanksgiving Day, I want to watch some good football games, but not very often do you see any great ones. But yeah,
nope. So, nope. Well, guys, have a good Thanksgiving. We hit on it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back Sunday night after the Patriots claim first place in the AFC. Let's go, baby.
I hope. Well, we won't actually. Actually, we're going to be watching kind of the game while we're doing the episode, right? To see
Ravens, right?
Hopefully, if we win, then we'll be able to watch that game and be rooting for the Browns and say, hey, we got a chance at first place. I mean, if you would have told me this early in the year, I would have been thrilled. So enjoy your Thanksgiving, enjoy the time with the family, like we mentioned, and enjoy this football game on Sunday. It's going to be a heck of a game. It's going to be a tough test. It's really going to show what this football team's made of. This next 4-game stretch is going to be really tough. And after these next 4 games, we're going to know exactly what this team is. And that's kind of exciting because past couple of years, we haven't really had any idea what this team is. And we're going to get a lot better idea in the not too distant future. So Titans coming up, then the Bills bye week, Colts, and then Bills again. So 4-game stretch is going to be really tough. Going to be some great competition. Going to really get to see what this team's made of, and I can't wait to watch. So we will see you guys on Sunday night. But thank you guys for the support. Thanks for coming in, tuning in tonight. All the comments. Thanks to Boston Headline, right? Yep. For hopping on. That was fun. We'll definitely have to keep doing that, and we might drop a link in the future in the actual podcast. So if you guys want to hop in and you have a question to ask us, we can have you guys hop in, give your opinion on stuff too for a couple minutes, and then keep the show going. But thank you guys for tuning in, and enjoy the game, enjoy Thanksgiving, enjoy your family, and everybody be safe. And we will see you guys Sunday night.
Thanks for listening to this edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things New England Patriots. Make sure you tune in to the next episode and check out patriotsdrive.com for more great content.
We're on to Cincinnati.